Alright guys, Subscriber here back again today, and finally it has been confirmed. We've known since Christmas Eve that the CDL was making a major upheaval to the way that the tournaments were going to be run this season. We finally have the details of pretty much how that's going to work. Not all the details of how all the matches are going to come out for the upcoming season, but we know pretty much when they're going to happen, at least for the first half of the season, and how the entire structure of the format is going to work. So that's really good news. Honestly, on the whole, this is maybe, not completely overwhelmingly good, not completely overwhelmingly bad, but definitely it could have been maybe slightly better in terms of the format. But then again, compared to what we were expecting a few weeks ago, this is a marked improvement, and we've talked about that a fair few times over the last couple of weeks. So today I'll hopefully break it down as best I can for you guys and make it as simple as possible, just to explain how things are going to happen. Because what we thought was going to happen is pretty much every weekend there was going to be a tournament at some city around the world, and they were it wasn't even going to be a tournament, right? It was effectively going to be league games, and people were calling them league scrims because there was going to be like 5 matches on the whole of the weekend. Really pointless, and there's not even an overall winner, right, I guess, from that entire weekend. Now there is a weekend winner. There's going to be slightly less tournaments than there initially was going to be weekends, but that's still definitely a positive thing on the whole, given the beneficial changes and the tournament structure as it is described here. So, like, if you guys enjoy the video, subscribe if you're new and want more stuff like this. I would greatly appreciate it. And just before we get into that, last night there was this Hitch birthday bot bash tournament. This is how it all turned out. So Aiden, Two Back Thug Log, and Holly ended up winning it. Hitch comes third with the Team Summertime. Just some very well-known names here from around the gaming community in this tournament. But let's go on to it then. So I'll leave the links down below to the web pages that I reference here if you guys would like to check it out. But here we go then. Today, the Call of Duty League reveals more details about tournaments-based play and the introduction of a new CDL Points system, which we talked about a while ago. It's very similar, if you guys are aware of, like the Formula 1 method, where wherever you place in tournaments around the world every couple of weekends, you will get points towards the overall league standings. Effectively, that's how it works here. So beginning at the launch weekend in Minneapolis, Minnesota on January 24th to 26th, so very soon really right now, the league does officially kick off. And throughout the entirety of the 2020 regular season, all teams will earn 10 CDL points for every match won. League standings will be determined by the total amount of CDL points accumulated. At launch weekend, all 12 teams in the league will play 2 matches over the course of a 3-day event. So, they didn't change this starting weekend from the format that it was going to be. It's still a 3-day event. Every team plays 2 matches. Not the biggest deal, but at least we get to see what every team is like. There's no overall weekend winner. Effectively, every weekend was going to be like this, but on a much smaller scale than having all 12 teams there playing 2 matches each. So on the whole, the weekend, the launch weekend should be pretty good, but in my opinion, the latter weekends will be even better. So here we go. Beginning in February, on February the 8th, beginning in London on February the 8th, home series weekend events will feature 8 teams competing in a tournament bracket. So that's more than we were planning. Like, we heard there was going to be like 6 teams at most of these weekends. They've upped that to 8. So the 8 teams competing will be separated into 2 groups of 4. 4 in Group A, 4 in Group B. Interesting. My hope really was that all of these teams would be put into a massive 8-team double elimination bracket, and off you go. You just see what happens, put the chaos out there. But at the end of the day, I do kind of like that they have groups, because at least that means we're probably going to see a few more games than if it was a single elim bracket, put it that way. So effectively, the format they're going for here is known as the GSL. I think the Global Star Ladder League or something like that initially came up, or at least used this format. So the way it works is, as we say here, the first round matchups for each group will be determined ahead of each event by the league office. I imagine some sort of seeding, or maybe they'll seed it and make these matches depending on which rivalries they want to see and this kind of stuff. So maybe it's not entirely fair, given that there's no clear seeding. It's just the league office decides who's going to play each other. So, potential for some rigging going, and I'm sure people are already going to be talking about that. But regardless, over the course of each home series weekend, the 4 teams that have won 2 matches in their respective groups will advance to compete in a single elimination bracket to determine the home series event weekend winner. Look, first of all, I wish it was a double elim bracket, but look, we'll get into that in a second. What I first wanted to talk about was this group play format. This is what's known, I'm pretty sure, as a GSL system. So each group will have 5 matches played through the 4 teams, and I'll explain how this works. So let's say we've got 4 teams in the group: Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and Team 4. The first match, let's say it's decided that Team 1 is going to play against Team 2 and Team 3 is going to play against Team 4. Let's say Team 1 wins and Team 3 wins. Now, Team 1 and Team 3 are both 1-0, as it were, and Team 2 and Team 4 are both 0-1, right? So 2 matches have been played so far. We have 2 teams at 1-0, 2 teams at 0-1. Simple enough. Then what happens is the 2 teams that are 1-0, both the winners, they will then play off to see who comes out of the group as the first seed. So this is match 3 between all the teams. The best 2 teams, Team 1 and Team 3, face off. The winner of that goes 2-0. They advance right to the final bracket. The loser of that drops down to 1-1, right? You can imagine how this works. Then, of the losers of the first round, 0-1 and 0-1, that's Team 2 and Team 4 in this analogy. They'll play each other, and the loser of that goes straight out and goes straight home, right? There's the last place, 0-2. The team, let's say Team 2 wins that over Team 4, they then go to 1-1, and they'll play, in our example, Team 3, both teams that are 1-1. The winner of that will go through, the loser of that will go home. That means, or I think, yeah, pretty much they go home. So that's 5 matches total per group. That will happen in Group A and in Group B, and we'll have 10 matches total in the group play, and then out of that you'll get the top 4 teams that will go through. 2 of those teams out of the 4 will have advanced at 2-0. They will be the top seeds from the groups, and then there's the other 2-1 teams, and I imagine they'll have the top seed from Group A playing against the second seed from Group B, and the top seed from Group B playing against the second seed from Group A. They will play off in 2 semi-finals. The winners of those 2 matches go on to the grand finals, and they, culminate in the home series event winner, which means we have 13 best of 5. I imagine it's best of 5. We've had nothing else about that it isn't best of 5 in this announcement, and I'm pretty sure the website still says it's going to be best of 5s. But anyway, so let's say it is best of 5s. We're going to have 13 best of 5s in the weekend, where initially we were expecting about 5. So clearly a market improvement. I do really like the idea that we're going to see a lot of matches here. We're going to see the best teams play off against each other. Going to have some nice group play. And on the whole, I really like it. It would be maybe nicer if this was a 4-team, double elim bracket. That would be slightly better, but on the whole, still pretty damn good. So the overall home series event winner will also earn 10 bonus CDL points, which is pretty damn cool. Just to mention as well on this GSL format, this is in contrast to what we've usually had, this round robin format, which often means that some of the ladder matches are pretty pointless because we already know who's gone through and who hasn't, right? At least in this format, every single match matters. The only issue with GSL is that, let's say, the first round in our example, Team 1 beat Team 2. For example, let's say Team 2, let's say Team 1 then lost their next match to Team, whatever it might be. It's possible that in the decider, Team 1 once again plays Team 2 for the deciding match. So it's possible that a team can go through the groups in the GSL format with only actually beating one team. So technically, you only have to be better than one team if you get lucky with how the bracket goes to get through. That's really the only downside to this format, which I've talked about that in a video I made ages ago back in 2018 where I talked about the issues with the champs groups. Maybe I'll leave that linked down below. So yeah, here we go. This is how the CDL points will be distributed. I'll kind of run through the rest of this because I've spent a lot of time on that, but hopefully it makes sense to you guys. And honestly, I think it's a pretty good thing. So CDL points will be distributed as follows. First place gets 50, second place gets 30, 20, 10, and 0. I wonder if this is in addition to the amount of games you have to win, because to become third and fourth place, you have to win 2 games to get out the groups and then lose your next match. To come 5th and 6th, you have to win 1 game to get, you don't make it through the groups, but you lose out at 2-1, which is quite interesting. I wonder how exactly that'll work, but we'll have to see. Tiebreakers will be determined based on the following criteria as needed. I imagine this is just based on your winnings, because if you come first place, you have to win 4 matches, right, which will give you 40 points based on 10 points per match. Then you get 10 bonus points for winning, so I imagine that's what's going on here. The tiebreakers will be based as follows. Regular season CDL points will determine which 8 teams qualify for the playoffs. As a reminder, at the end of the regular season, the top 8 ranked teams, including 4 wildcard spots, will advance to the playoffs. The 4 wildcards will compete in a single elim bracket. 2 teams will get out of that, so it's only one single match that decides your fate, I guess. The 2 teams that advance from the wildcard will then face off against the 3rd and 4th overall teams as part of a double elim bracket, and then finally it goes double elim from there. Final 2 teams will compete for the Call of Duty League Championship, the kind of things I've heard before. Few notes then on the Challengers League. So Call of Duty Challengers, the official path to pro system for the Call of Duty League, kicks off in Minnesota. This is the prize pool that we're looking at here, and on the whole, it's pretty damn comfortable, like 80 grand for the first place at the launch weekend, and this is on the Challengers side of things. 250 grand there's up to 100. I'm pretty sure all these 192 spots have been filled up. But if you win the challenger side, you win 80 grand. Like, that's as much as you would typically win at a normal CDL event in a normal season, which just really does show why some of these guys have decided not to be passengers as a substitute on a squad and have instead gone in for this this challenger side of things. This is what it's looking like then. So the challenger schedule for the weekend. So if you guys happen to be playing, then this is what schedule your guys going to be looking at. In addition to the launch weekend, all Call of Duty League teams will host challengers competitions in their home markets. Okay, this is really damn cool to see. Like, all teams will have to host challengers competitions. Maybe it's just one per season, but each event will be a 10k series event hosting a bracket of 32 to 64 teams. That's what we talked about with Seattle the other day. Have a minimum of $10,000 in cash prizing. This is the equipment that's going to be going on. They're still using the Cronus Max, disappointingly. In addition to the home series events, select teams will host additional Call of Duty Challengers events in their event markets throughout the 2020 season. So that's even further. In addition to the home series events, there's going to be even more potential Challengers events happening through the season, which honestly is really damn cool to see. This is what I wanted to go through then. Hopefully this just about fits on your screen. So we're looking at upcoming events. They've updated the page, and now you can see that, okay, we have the Minnesota launch weekend with all of the teams here. We'll just zoom out once more so you guys can kind of see what's going on. And now, instead of having like 6 teams at each one, we've got the Royal Ravens, but also these 7 teams, also these 7, also these 6, because this is hosted by the Los Angeles Guerillas and the OpTic Gaming Los Angeles squad. And this is what we're looking at. So as far as I'm aware, this is all the matches for the upcoming season. So here we go. We've got the launch weekend, then of home series events. We've got Royal Ravens. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we've got the All-Star weekends. So Saturday, you know, June 6th to June 7th. I don't know if they've even included here a mid-season playoffs, which we thought we were going to have. Maybe they've entirely scrapped that. Then after the All-Star weekends, sometime in mid-June, then we've got 2 more weekends. We've got the All-Star weekend comes up to 11. Then we've got 2 more. One, thankfully, is in London. So that's the 12th and the 13th weekend. Then the championship weekend. So it looks like for the season, we've got 14 weekend events on the whole. 14 championships, I guess, to be won in terms of whatever trophy they're going to put on, which is really cool to see. Like, not every team is going to be there every single weekend, which does raise questions. But on the whole, this is like really, really cool. And we have way more championships, I guess championships, right, to be won than we've seen in the past. We're going to have 14 over the course of the season. This is great to see. And honestly, just a market improvement over what we saw before. It's just great to see that Activision and CDL are actually listening to some feedback. Just wanted to say real quick before the end of the video then, this is what Dallas Empire, has on their website still, and you can still see legendary matchups. They're still using the old graphic. This is no longer the case, so if you guys are looking to buy tickets, just beware that some of the graphics on the websites of what you may be experiencing are probably slightly different, or, you know, considerably different in this case, to what we're actually going to be looking at. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.